And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Lost Odyssey. For some reason, I couldn't think of the name all of a sudden. I hasn't played for a few days. Alright, so when we last left off, we saved in the overworld after all the big events at Highlands of Wool and the city of Ura. So now we head to Ipsen Mountains as we make our way to Grandstaff. So, yeah, we spent a lot of time in town for those of you who have been following along with us and have noticed that, yeah, we've spent a lot of time in town. And that's just going to happen when we get to new towns, is there's so much to do. It's actually quite interesting in a way. It's not where you just go to a town, buy gear, and move on. Many towns have things for you to discover, find, and do, as well as more stories.
Graffiti bug, I just gotta follow him. This is like a death march. Hey, we gotta get through that? There's no road.
Pull yourself together. If this is all it takes to wear you out, we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I don't wear out the bed.
Once we get through here, there's the Ipsen Range. Those mountains are steep and rugged. The weather is unpredictable. And since the ground is unstable, we have to be on the lookout for rock slides, too. Of course, I expect to see you take a tumble into the canyon before we see any rocks doing it.
Yeah, funny. You know, Lord Gungora was saying you have a problem with your memory, right? I mean, you sure know these mountains well enough. And of course, you know you shave your legs every day and you pluck your eyebrows. And you owe me money, so I'm confused. You sure you really don't remember?
My body remembers.
What?
There was a time when I used to rush through here. I was a pirate, and supposedly I also went through these mountains. But I just don't know what the truth is. I don't have any answers.
Huh. Well, what about you? Did anyone tell you what you once were?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, since you're so upbeat and happy, I doubt if anyone will remember you.
That's fine with me.
Oh?
My body also remembers.
How so?
Just that it was painful. If I happen to remember, and my past didn't amount to much, then I think it's probably better to have never remembered.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Kaim, there's no need to rush it. Your memories will come back gradually. And they're not all bad.
What? No breaks?
Shut up, Jensen, and get marching.
You just had one.
Yeah, how about some water? A little fruit? How about a foot massage? My feet don't stink. Kaim, you up for that? Hello?
Kaim is such a Jensen is such a jackass. Or is he? Get some free goods. There's a save point, but we're not going to use it right now. Now, as I had pointed out, this is a good place to build some SP, and SP is required to learn skills. That will all make sense in due course. Now, this is okay. I'll explain what he's talking about, but really quick, this is Miss Walker's version of, like, the enemy you would see in every game. My memory's not working well today. But yeah, the Kilolon is what they went for their, like, I think they went with this for their mascot. So that's the enemy's defense gauge, and you'll see what it is. I'll explain it in a minute. Help if I use the trigger button. Oh, I couldn't. And it's not bad at all. See how the guard condition has gone down? Yeah, so front row and back row have kind of an HP of their own, and it's not necessarily indicative of the HP that the characters are working with, right? So what happens is as the front row takes damage, the defense of the back row starts to weaken. So that's what you need to know. Enemies casting a spell. Well, you punched out the guy who was trying to cast a spell, right? That extends the amount of time he needs to pull the spell off. It's called casting interference. And if we keep interfering, we can keep him from casting it into much further turns. So that's how so pretty much in a nutshell, this is how the spell system kind of works. So just to summarize, 2 SP for that fight. Don't worry, there'll be better SP fights. Not by much more, but more than that. Sure. Spells can be bought in stores or learned by raising your level. Merely acquiring a spell doesn't mean you can use it. You actually have to have the skill set to use it. This is very true, and that'll make sense. And then the casting time is from A to H in speed. The number represents how many turns are required before the spell takes effect. So 1 turn happens really fast if it's 1A. 1A is good. So anyway, I will explain in the next battle in much more vivid detail what the hell they're talking about. Because there's a bit here to have to understand. So we'll get into a fight.
This does not look good!
So we got a little grouping here. So there's no rows. Everybody's in the front row. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is elemental affinity. Elemental affinity is very peculiar in this game. It's like a 4-way triangle instead of a 3-way triangle. Wind is surprisingly weak to fire. And earth, which are the other 2 elements, are beaten by wind. So we're gonna go for... Oh, there's a Colon out there too. We'll go for the easier things to kill and get them out of here. And we're gonna have to use magic, black magic. We only have fire, flare, and wind, which is fine. Dicorn's probably the most dangerous thing here. Since there's no back row, I can't explain it, but you can see our current front row is hurting. So what it is if the player or enemy front rows are affected, something bad happens to the back row. Pretty much the front row, that bar is the defense level of the back row. As the back row gets weaker and weaker, let me just sort this here. As the back row or front row gets weaker and weaker, the back row's damage goes up and up. So if an enemy attacks the back row while that bar is full, they're not going to do too much damage. As you can see, 15 damage. Now, as the front row gets weaker over time, that damage is going to go up, and if it gets to 0, then it's going to be pretty big damage in the back row. So that's kind of one of the mechanics they went for, which is a good mechanic. It's just very intricate. So Kime learns Steel, Kime learns Factual Analysis, Seth learns Steel, and Jensen learns Level 2 Black Magic. Good. Alright, so let's go and give them new stuff. That's not a joke. Really quick. So you can see Kime has mastered Hawkeye. It's got the 3 little stars on it. I want to learn anti-poison right away, because that's going to be very useful. She's still got 2 more points on the necklace. And if we go into skills, you can see we can set skills we want to use. So these are skills that are either in enhancements or linked. We can actually throw Steel in there if we wanted to. So there's 3 slots for us to put in skills that we've learned, so to speak. Now, we're going to skill link back to Jensen again. And we can learn his magic. Yay. So let's do that. We'll learn white magic. And for her, Right, because she's learned steel as well. We'll have her learn black magic. Just to get that sorted. Give her steel right now. And really, that's the gist of it. Now, Jensen just leveled, so what's this? He should have access to sleep and prism. Inflicts moderate amount of random element damage on all enemies. Random element being it could be stuff they're strong against. It's kind of hit and miss spell. And what we want to do, before we get too far in the area, we want to make sure that we want to make sure that we learn, number one, we've learned steel already. Did I miss this? We want to make sure we don't miss anything. It's very easy to miss these trees. So we get a really cool seed. There's something here. And this game can be weird sometimes. Sometimes the encounter rate is kind of low. I'm not quite sure why they made that decision, but they did, so to speak. So I am going to show you a few more battles just so you guys get the idea. But like many JRPGs of this nature, I tend to stop showing them. So you can see the enemy has a back row, which means if we try to attack the back row, we would do reduced damage. And you can see how it's now a level 3 guard. It'll pretty much end up being a level nothing soon, unless there's 3 enemies in the front row, which is hard to tell right now. There must be a 3rd enemy in the front row. Nice, Jensen. Let's just miss. Yeah, there's 3 enemies in the front row. So magic would have killed it. So now the front row is down to 0. And now the back row will take maximum damage. Pretty much what that means. And lots of XP, which we really need right now. And Seth learns Crisis Attack Boost. So let's go ahead and we'll set that up. So early on in the game, we go into this menu a lot more than you would be comfortable normally, I think, doing. Oh, that's right, it's an equip. But for the most part, it's a necessary kind of evil, just to get it kind of knocked out. And then Kime is how far on his? 4 out of 20. And we need to get this really for Seth and Kime. So we got some of our work cut out for us. Let's go through here. Herb. And ground. Witch. Earth damage. And here's a tree. Nice. Now we need to be careful, because it's quite hard to see what to run into. Go back this way. I believe we bumped into that one. And the reason why we need to find the trees that have the goodies is some of them have seeds in them. Which, again, they're not missable at this point, but we do want to get them before we get too far. Let's do that. And like I said, we'll start skipping over some fights in just a little bit. Attacking with the Pelican Breach. You can see he took reduced damage even though he was in the back row, even from magic. Still enough to kill him, but it's something to keep in mind. Well, we want to get strong enough to start one-shotting them would be nice. Healing medicine levels for Kaim and Seth, who never learned new skills on their own. Keep that in mind. And then they've learned what they were working on with Jensen. Now we're going to have them each learn the opposite. It would help if I was with the right character. And we can actually set this too. So we can set black magic there temporarily. We can set white magic there temporarily. May as well give them something. And then obviously they need a skill link with Jensen again to learn black magic 1. I'm doing this the hard way. White magic 1. Because, like I said, you want to learn everything you can from the mortal characters. Because it just gives you more versatility to your immortals. Not gonna lie, it's true. There's a seed. I don't think there's anything on this side. We went up there. Did we check this tree over here? Yeah. Alright, let's move. As we check that tree, and hide in the corner here, is there? Nope. We didn't come this way, though. Again, tree checking. Check this pot. Flare bomb. Slot seed. Now this is cool. Slot seeds will give us more slots to learn and attach more abilities to the immortals. That's all you need to know that it does. Because the more skills you can have your immortals do, the better. The slot seed does nothing for mortal characters, I don't believe at all. Use wind. Nice. And nice. Keep telling yourself that, Jensen. Keep telling yourself that. And Seth learned factual analysis. Equip. Well, we're still waiting for Kaim to learn that other thing, so that's fine. Did we get this already? Yeah, we did. Go over here. Two antidotes. And the Knight's Code. which I think we could have bought, but we decided not to.
Oh yeah! Let's get it on!
Alright, so we're pretty much getting into repetition at this point. But you guys get the general consensus. I think we'll just show battles this episode, and then going forward I will reduce the amount of episodes to showing you new enemies and strategies and stuff. It's up to you. It's really kind of what I've done through most of these games to make them mostly tolerable. I could show the entire battles, though, which, you know, it's kind of up in the air. As you can see, Jensen's been poisoned. And then cure poison on himself.
That was a close one.
So Kaim and Seth learn their black and white magic together. Jensen's no longer poisoned because status effects tend to only last 4 battle. Let's skill link and learn black magic level 2. So theoretically you should at almost all times have your mortals learning 2 things. No reason why they can't. Just as a heads up. Let's see how they're doing. He's almost there. And yeah, they'll be there roughly the same time, I think. Yeah, 6 away. And she should be 6 away. Yeah, so they'll finish at the same time. We'll have them switch items. So he gets poison immunity forever. No, well, it technically is forever. Nice. Keep moving. Nothing over there. Nothing over there. Alright, let's move. And really, I want to check something. Making sure I had 15 of the seeds. And actually, I'm so stingy about it. I'm checking it. Yeah, we're good. You'll also notice there's something else in our inventory. A black pearl presented from Gongora to Jensen. What does it do? We don't know. As you can see, there's going to be more trees for us to bump into. Right. At least they're all close together. There's a seed. Barricade spell. Flare bomb. Okay, let's check down this way first. I think that tree is actually down here. Another seed.
Oh yeah! Let's get it on!
And another rather easy battle. If we can perfect trick, we could probably take these birds out. Yep. Deep, 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 deep. 13. So one more SP and we should be able to move on with what we want Seth to learn.
If it's a fight you want, you got it.
Same battle set up again. No, I think if we missed the perfect, we would just be underkilling it. Though we might be one level high enough that it's not even a problem anymore.
That wasn't very fun.
And Jensen learns factual analysis on his own. And Seth learns guard heal, Kym learns anti-poison. So let's go ahead and disperse all of that. So antidote brooch for something. This is actually really important. So is that, but this one's a bit more important. She was learning guard heal and what else? It's fine. That's actually kind of useful. Jensen's got that on. We'll put on the Hawkeye, just so that becomes available to the other characters to learn as well. Since Jensen has factual analysis on his own, for now. And once they learn Black Magic level 2, I believe they don't need to have Black Magic level 1 on them anymore. I believe. Pretty sure about that. You just need the highest tier of what you want them to do available. Wait, no, that was the right way.
Hey, I want to ask a favor. I'm just going to ask this once, okay? Will you listen?
All right already.
$50.
What do you want?
Whining, okay. Is that all you can say? Can't we just rest in that hut over there?
All you do is complain, complain, complain.
I'm not like you two. I'm a normal human being.
What should we do?
All right. Let's rest.
Thank you.
Fucking Jensen. Useless bastard. Alright, in we go, big old baby. So we will grab that. Gonna want to make sure we're good on how many we've got. Yep. And we get search glasses. Antidote. Power drink. finally reached the mountain hut. Everyone is worn out. I can barely keep my eyes open long enough to leave these few words. We're going to stay in this hut for a while. A giant monster inhabiting the Ipsilon has appeared. We've only glimpsed its shadow near the peak, but it's enough to make us think twice about going on. I've got a light fever, probably from the rain during the climb. The weather changes so fast up here. I still have my appetite, and I've taken some medicine too. I should be fine after I'm rested. The keeper of the mountains is still on the prowl near the summit. We hear the beat of its giant wings and roars periodically. We should be safe in this hut, but who knows when we'll be able to leave. I thought the Ipsilon Mountains were a terrifying place, a nest of monsters, but everything is so beautiful up here. We discovered an exquisitely rare flower today. There isn't much else to do right now. The master of Ipsilon Mountains finally seems to have moved on. At least we can leave this place. We're going to ensure our safety tomorrow and depart. So that's probably what this hut was for, one could assume. Sweet. So we'll stay in here and rest. Oh, man. Thinking about all the porn. Woke me up. It is Jensen. I mean, come on. What the hell? So that's that black pearl we were looking at.
Listen, if either Kime or Seth seem like they're starting to regain even a fragment of their memories, use this.
What is it?
Creeper smile right there.
Oh, hi. I couldn't sleep. I'm usually exercising, sparring with people, and I work out a lot before I...
Was that all?
Was what all? About what?
You know
I mean,
what I mean.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Okay. And we can rest here anytime we want. And we got shield and barricade, which is pretty much defense, is pretty much protect and shell for those of you who are the great Final Fantasy fans. Single target. Let's go ahead and make a save, because saving's your friend. Alright. Let's move. As we run along here, if we see these little piles of rocks, we can get more goodies.
The air feels humid.
Well, it's not going to rain. I know the weather. I have a sense about these things. And the sun's going to break through any second, and you'll be peeling off the clothes. Trust me. Oh, great. It's raining. What'd I say? It's going to rain. I knew it. Man.
So now we have the weather changing. And meanwhile, housekeeping, would you like a new pillow? Would you like to suck you off? Oh, housekeeping! Your Majesty, your spoon technique is so primitive.
You're dismissed.
Stop watching me awkwardly eat.
Oh, Lord Gongora, please wait. Pardon the intrusion.
Oh! Gongora, what are you doing?
A moment, please.
What is going on, Gongora? Answer me. The council has placed you under house arrest.
Speak to the hand.
Behold.
Well, that's the stuff of nightmares.
Gongora, what is the meaning of this?
There are those who do not wish the monarchy restored to power.
But I do not wish it to be restored to power.
With all due respect, while some fools completely support our current republic, there are also those who long to restore a powerful monarchy. Regardless of what your highness may desire, our country struggles with two political forces, the past and the present. You must be aware of this. Fortunately, I was able to sense your danger through magic energy. Even though I am under house arrest, I could not allow you to be harmed. There are many ways I can secretly move from my manor to yours, your highness.
But if Roxian knew you had been out of your home, you would be subject to even tighter restrictions.
I can look after myself.
I, however, cannot. Had you not come, I would have ended up like that mouse.
You can always rely on me, your highness.
Thank you, Gongora. Thank you.
I think we've all kind of been suspecting Gongora of all kinds of weirdness.
Well done. We'll have to push him harder. I'll be in touch when the time comes.
Yep, there's some bullshit afoot, isn't there? You can see we can keep moving. Time recalls a memory that was locked deep within his heart. Oh, another one? Well, hey, look at it like this. There's 31 of these, and we're getting through them pretty quick. We get a whole bunch of them all at once. Should be like our 6th or 7th one. So look at the bright side. Sooner they're out of the way, the better. If you're not a big fan of them. The Upstreamers. The Upstreamers. There's the voice. Strong winds have always blown across this vast grassy plain. Perhaps the area's topography has something to do with it, but the direction of the wind remains constant, irrespective of the time or season.
from east to west, from horizon where the sun rises to the horizon where the sun sets. Swept by the unceasing winds, the mishapen trunks and branches of shrubs all incline to the west. Tall grasses do not grow here, and the grasses that do grow all lie flat on the ground, bending westward. Caravans and herding folk traverse the single road that crosses the plain. They do not come and go, they only go, moving from east to west, using the wind at their backs to gain distance. Travelers heading west to east always use the circuitous route that snakes around the southern mountains. It is much farther than away, but much faster than crossing the plain head-on into the wind. The road across the plain is called the wind stream. Just as the flow of the great river never changes direction, the footsteps of those who use the road have not changed direction since the distant past, nor are they likely to change far into the distant future from east to west. Human shapes that appear from the horizon where the sun rises disappear over the horizon where the sun sets. They never pass oncoming travelers, with only the rarest exceptions. The first time she passed Kaim on the wind stream, the girl was just an infant. So was my grandmother alive then? In response to the girl's untroubled question, Kaim smiles and answers, she was. And I remember what a nice old lady she was too. Looking back down the road, the girl points towards the line of hills fading off into the distance. My grandmother crossed 7 hills on her journey. Is 7 a lot? Grandma lived a long time. Most people end their journeys after 5 hills. The people they leave behind build a little grave where they ended their journey, and then they keep traveling. The girl points down at the ground where she is standing. This is as far as I've come, she says with a proud, happy smile. The religion of the girl and her family professes a pious belief that if they devote their lives to walking eastward against the flow of the wind stream, they will arrive at the easternmost source of the stream itself. People call believers in that religion the upstreamers. The word carries a hint of fear and sadness, but also a trace of contempt and scorn. The upstreamers are devoid of worldly desires. They live their lives for no greater purpose than traveling eastward on foot. They are free of doubt. They give birth to children en route, and they continue their journey while raising their children. When they age and their strength gives out, their journey ends, but the family's journey continues. From child to grandchild to great-grandchild, their belief is carried on. The journey of this girl's family was begun by her late grandmother, who began walking from the wind stream's western verge with her son, who was then the age the girl is now. The upstreamers do not walk for the entire year, of course. During the season where the winds are especially strong, from late autumn to early spring, they take up residence in various post towns scattered along the road and earn day wages by performing tasks that the townsfolk themselves refuse to do. Some upstreamers choose to stay in the towns, while others, conversely, take townspeople with them when they return to the road in spring. These are people with whom they have fallen in love during the long winter, or boys who dream of travel, or grown-ups who are tired of town life. Such are the reasons the townfolk look upon the upstreamers with complicated gazes. The little girl's mother was one of those who joined the journey midway, and the girl herself, some years from now, might fall in love with someone in a post town somewhere. She might choose to live in the town, or she could just as well invite her lover to join her on the road. She has no idea at this point what lies in store for her. The girl's father calls out to her, "Time to go!" Their brief rest is over. She seems sorry to leave and stands up reluctantly. "Too bad," she says. "I wish I could have talked with you more, but we have to go to the next town by the time the snow starts." Constantly exposed to headwinds, her cheeks are red and cracked, her lips chapped, but her smile is wonderful as she wishes Kaim a safe journey. It is the serene smile of one who believes completely in the purpose of her life, without the slightest doubt. "Will I see you again somewhere?" she asks. "Probably." Kaim answers, smiling back at her, but he can never match that smile of hers. He is now in the midst of a journey that will take him beyond the western end of the wind stream. He heads to the battlefield as a mercenary, and by the time the western battle is over, a new battle will have begun in the east. It will be a long, cruel journey, with nothing to believe in. When he meets the girl again along the way, Kaim's smile will have taken on even more shadows than it has now. Perhaps as a parting gift of sorts, the girl sings a few short lines for him. "This wind, where does it blow from? Where does it start its journey here? Does it come where life begins? Or does it begin where life ends?" "Goodbye, then," the girl says, trudging on, one laboured step at a time, her streaming in the headwind. 10 long years have flowed by when Kaim meets the girl again.
Add that little again in there.
It is spring, when the grassland is dotted with lovely white flowers. She has become the wife of a young man who does tailoring and shoe repair in one of the post towns. "This is my 3rd spring here," she says, patting her swollen belly fondly. "In a few days she will give birth to a child. She will become a mother." "And your parents?" Kaim asks. She shrugs and glances eastward. "They are continuing their journey. I'm the only one who stayed on here." Kaim does not ask why she has done this. Continuing the journey is one way to live, and staying in town is another. Neither can be judged to be more correct than the other. The only answer for the girl can be seen in her smiling face. "But never mind about me," she says, looking at him suspiciously. "You haven't changed one little bit from the time we met so long ago. For the 1,000-year-old Kaim, 10 years is nothing but a change in season." "Some lives are like that," he says, straining to smile. "Some people in this world could never grow old, no matter how long they live." He looks at the girl, now grown into a woman, and wonders again. Living through endless ages of time, is it a blessing or a curse? Kaim's remark hardly counts as an explanation, but the girl nods with a look of apparent understanding. "If that's the case," she says, "you should be the one who goes to the place where the wind begins. You'd be the perfect upstreamer." She could be right. After all, the lifespan given to humans is far too short for anyone to travel against the flow of the wind stream as far as the starting point of the wind. Still, Kaim responds with a few slow shakes of his head. "I'm not qualified to make the journey. No, anybody can be an upstreamer. Anybody, that is, who wants to see where the wind starts with his or her own eyes." Having said this, however, the girl adds with a touch of sadness, "No one has actually seen it, though, I guess." "The place where the wind begins. That place is nowhere at all. Even if after the long journey one were to arrive at the eastern end of the wind stream, the wind would be blowing there too. And not just an east wind, west wind, north wind, south wind, wind without limit, wind without end. Human beings who cannot live forever, daring to take a journey without end. This might be the ultimate tragedy, but it could just as well be the ultimate comedy. Kaim knows one thing, however. One cannot simply dismiss it as an exercise of futility." "How about you?" asks the girl. Aren't you going to continue your journey soon? She thinks about this for the space of a breath, and caressing her swollen belly, she cocks her head and says, I wonder, I might want to go on living the way I am now forever. Or then again, I might feel a desire to reach the starting point of the wind. All the upstreamers without exception say that you can never know what might trigger a return to the journey. One day, without warning, you slough off the entire town life and start walking. It is not always a matter of running into an upstreamer and being lured back to the road. Plenty of people set out on their own all of a sudden. The teachings of the upstreamers say that all human beings harbor the desire for endless travel. They probably are not aware of the desire because it is stashed away so far down in the breast that it is deeper than memory. The instant something brings it to the surface, a person becomes an upstreamer. Even you have the desire, the girl says to Kai. I wonder. It's true, she says, no question. The look in her eyes is as straight on and free of doubt as it was when the last time I met her. Fixing him with that look, she points to her own chest. I haven't completely lost it myself, but I'm sure you're happy with your present life? Of course I am. Do you really think the day will come when you will want to set out on the journey, even if it means giving up that happiness? Instead of answering, she gives him a gentle smile. Many years flow by, but every now and then something reminds Kaim of the girl's words, that everyone harbors a desire for endless travel. For Kaim, living itself is a journey without end. In the course of his journey, he has witnessed countless deaths, and he has also witnessed countless births. Human life is all too short, too weak, and fleeting. Yet the more he dwells upon its evanescence, the more he feels, inexplicably, that words such as eternal and perpetual apply more properly to life, finite as it is, than to anything else. Traveling down the wind stream for the first time in many years, Kaim spies the funeral of an upstreamer. A young boy in mourning dress stands by the road, holding out wild flowers to passing travelers and urging them to offer up a flower to a noble soul who has made the long journey thus far. Kaim takes a flower and asks the boy, "Is it a member of your family?" My grandma." The boy nods, his face the image of one Kaim knew so long ago. The old woman lying in her coffin must be the girl. Kaim is sure of it. Grandma traveled a long, long time. She brought my daddy with her when he was just a little boy. See that hill over there? She started walking from way, way beyond it, and she got all the way here. So the girl must have set out on the journey after all. Turning her back on the town life, leading her child by the hand, she trod her way along the endless journey. Her wish to aim for the place where the wind begins would be passed on to her child, her grandchild, and on through succeeding generations. To head for a land one could never hope to reach, and to do so generation after generation. This is another endless journey. Is it a tragedy? A comedy? Perhaps the serene smile on the face of the old woman in the coffins is the answer. Kaim lays the flower at her feet as an offering. The family members who have traveled with her join together in a song for the departed. This wind, where does it blow from? Where does it start its journey here? Does it come from where life begins? Or does it begin where life ends? The wind blows. It sweeps across the vast grasslands. kind takes one long, slow step towards the destination. Have a good trip, calls the boy. Red and cracked as the girl's were so long ago, his cheeks soften in a smile as he waves to the departing traveler.
Another story. Okay, so we're gonna head back towards the inn, and I'm gonna go ahead and, as I said, I'm gonna build up the skills that are kind of lingering in the party, specifically anti-poison and a few other skills and whatnot, just to prepare for what's coming, because something big is coming. That book on the shelf was not, just a story. It's something relevant. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm your host, the RPG Guy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And when we come back, we will have some more Lost Odyssey with you, as well as getting to the peak of the Ipsilon mountain range. So again, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JacktarStudios for more live gaming fun that you don't want to miss out on. Check out our Chairman of the Board show. That is on Tuesday nights at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time-ish. As well as once in a while we do it on a Sunday. Also check out our Hobo Headcrab Blind Plays show, because you don't want to miss out on the fun stuff that we do during that event as well. Because you get to see his reactions to him first time playing games, as well as he plays a lot of classics that he's having an absolute ball playing. Again, you don't want to miss out on that show. It's a wonderful show. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. We will see you guys next time.